The Grumman F-14 Tomcat, first delivered to the U.S. Navy in 1972, is one of the most potent interceptors in the world. Boasting a two-man crew, the F-14 can carry up to 6 Phoenix missiles and destroy 6 separate targets with a range in excess of 100 miles, all at the same time. The F-14's amazing capabilities also include a speed up to Mach 1.88, carrying a variety of bombs including the Phoenix missile, Sidewinder, Sparrow, cluster bomb, Vulcan 20mm cannon, 2 extra drop fuel tanks, fly at a height of 56,000 feet and a range of 2,000 miles. Join us on a rare but exciting look into the eyes of a pilot in an F-14 on a mission. Get a pilot's point of view of flying an F-14 and watch a rare glimpse into carrier takeoff and landing, low-level flying, midair refueling, barrel rolls. Dedicated to the men and women who risk their lives for freedom, past and present. Watch the raw action in the cockpit and join us on board the F-14A Tomcat.
Alright, we're getting ready for the launch. Next to the landing, this is about the most exciting part of the flight right here. Okay, he's giving me a hook down signal. You want to make sure you check your hook before you come back. Obviously, you're going to need that in order to come back and land on the ship. We've already started the engines. We're getting ready to taxi up to the catapult. As you notice, the person taxiing us, the yellow shirt, everybody's got every different color of jersey has a different job on the flight deck. The yellow shirts are our taxi directors. We follow the directions and they get us to where we need to go. The brown shirts are about the lowest level of the food chain on the carrier deck. The brown shirts just, they're like the worker bees. They carry the chocks and the chains. They do all the manual labor. You got red shirts up there that are ordnance people. They pull the pins, they take care of the weapons, the missiles. They do all the checks that need to be done on those. Purple shirts are the fuelers, and the white shirts are probably the top of the food chain. They're the final checkers. Taxiing up to the catapult. There's really no margin for error on the aircraft carrier deck because there's no room, there's no clearance. And all these taxi directions have to be followed really precisely because you're only talking about inches on the wingtips, and there's no space to. There's no clearance on the carrier deck, so you got to follow these guys' directions exactly. He's hopping around because he's getting the hot exhaust from the catapult. The plane on the catapult is running up to full power, and that hot exhaust is coming around that jet blast deflector. That's why you saw him hopping around like that. flight deck jerseys, it's different colors. The ones with the white jersey is a final checker. He's the quality control guy. He's the one that's going to be looking over the aircraft and, you know, making sure when you get up on the catapult before they launch you that there's no problems, that there's nothing wrong with the airplane, there's nothing leaking, there's nothing out of the ordinary from the way it's supposed to be. Okay, we're squatting the aircraft down now, kneeling in the plane so it gets down so they can hook up the catapult. Now, he just said, okay, pop your speed brakes, lower your flaps, do all the things you need to do. We're going to take a look at your plane. So we're configuring the aircraft, and I'm taking a look at the instruments right now as I taxi up, because we're about ready to go here. What we're going to do is when it gives us a run-up signal, which you can't see off to the left, we're going to run the engines up to full power. I'm going to be looking at all the instruments to make sure everything looks good on the inside. I'm going to take the controls, I'm called wiping out the controls, make sure all the controls are free and they're moving like the way they're supposed to. People on the outside are also looking at that to make sure the controls move like they're supposed to. Once I'm satisfied with everything looks good on the inside, and my Rio and I are ready to go, we're going to look at the catapult officer. He's waiting for us. We're going to give a salute, we're going to put the head back against the headrest in the seat, and we're going to get launched off. We're talking about 0 to about 160 knots in less than 2 seconds. So you're pulling, I don't know, about the G's, maybe 2 or 3 G's at least coming off the catapult, but it's a wild ride and it's a lot of fun. A lot of people don't like the catapult shots at night, but I always thought they were just as much fun in the daytime. It's the night carrier landings I didn't really care for. When we're sitting on the catapult, we're getting ready to go. I'm looking around the inside, checking all the instruments in the cockpit to make sure everything looks okay on the inside. Once we get the signal to run up the engines, we're going to run them up to full power. We're going to wipe out the cockpit with the controls, which means we're just going to move all the flight controls, make sure they all feel free, everything looks good. Once we get the final signal, we're going to go to Zone 5 Afterburner. And once my Rio and I are ready, we're going to salute the catapult officer, put our head against the headrest, and off we go. You don't fly the aircraft off the flight deck as much as you get shot off of it. Once we have the engines run up, people are crawling under the plane, they're looking around it, checking everything on the outside to make sure there aren't any problems, any last minute problems. There's nothing quite like a catapult launch from an aircraft carrier. You go from 0 to about 140 knots in less than 2 seconds. It's a real kick in the pants. You don't fly the plane off the carrier deck as much as you get shot off of it. Once the plane reaches the end of the flight deck, the plane is basically flying and you just kind of take over from it. Alright, now's the time we can relax a little bit. The plane's flying, you're looking it over, everything's looking okay, you got the gear up as soon as you took off, and now you can relax a little bit. Now it's time to go, depending on your mission, you might have to go overhead and join up with the rest of your flight, whether it's another plane or 2 more planes or a whole strike. So now it's off to fly the mission. We're getting ready for a catapult launch. You're just sitting there on the deck, you're looking at all the different aircraft. Depending on the mission you're launching for, you know, whether it's just a combat air patrol or an airstrike, you're just sitting around looking at all the firepower around you, all the different planes, you know, the fighters, the bombers, the E-2, whatever it is. It's just a really awesome sense of firepower and overwhelming superiority. It's a very impressive feeling just to be part of it. We're flying about 1,000 feet here, and we're getting ready to. We're looking for our coast in point on the low-level route. All this is planned out in advance, and we're flying a specific course and speed, and we're looking for the. I think I probably just saw it. We're looking for the specific point where we join our low-level route. The goal for this type of training is not just to have fun, although that's what we think it is, but it really is to get you comfortable flying and maneuvering down close to the ground. Next to air combat training, low-level flying is one of the funnest things to do for a pilot. I mean, you could be flying up at altitude 1.5 Mach or something, and it's just a number on a dial. When you get down under 50 feet and you're doing 600 knots, you really feel like you're flying then. And it's a really exciting feeling. When you're maneuvering down at low level, especially under 100 feet, there really isn't any margin for error. You really are on the, it's almost like you're on the edge of your seat, if you could be on the edge of your seat, but it's, everything is focused on the task at hand, and there's no room for a mistake here, obviously. When we're doing these low levels in Saudi Arabia, there's no FAA around. You know you're not going to get violated for an infraction for flying too low or too fast or for making too much noise by somebody, and it's just really cool to be flying over some of this terrain and just to see it. Occasionally we'll blow by a guy in a Jeep or some camels or people in tents. It's just really an awesome opportunity to do some fun flying. You don't get that kind of chance too many other places. A lot of the times, flying close to the ground, you can stay out of the envelope of different weapon systems, different surface-to-air missiles. They're obviously not going to be able to track you down this low to the ground, and you're going to stay out of different threat envelopes. The old wives' tale of under the radar is not necessarily true anymore, although to a certain extent it's true. So that really the goal is to hug the contour of the Earth as closely as possible. You want to maintain, anywhere from 50 to 100 to 200 feet above the terrain, no matter what type of terrain you might be going over. Obviously, if you're going to be going over a mountain and you're approaching this mountain, you can pull up to maintain the proper altitude. But as you go over the top, now that contour is going to drop off really quickly. You could push the nose forward and get a lot of negative G, which is uncomfortable and maybe not the best for the airplane. Or you can roll inverted and pull positive G down to get your nose back down below the horizon and hug the contour of that mountain as you go over the top of it. Even on this video, even down low when you see everything whizzing by so fast, even that doesn't do it justice, how the sense of speed that you actually get in the cockpit when you're flying. We are down here really low. When you see those trees, those little bush shrubs going by, we are down here at 50 feet, maybe a little bit under. We set the radar altimeter for 50 feet, and it gives us a warning warble when it goes off. So we try to keep it right around there for safety. But with all the mountains and everything, it's really tough to go by that. You're just really flying by the seat of your pants, and you don't get to do that a lot of times. That's what makes it so fun. There's really no way to describe flying the F-14. It was wilder than the most thrilling roller coaster ride. It was more fun than anything I've ever done. Overall, flying the F-14 was just a great experience. in a typical refueling on these airstrikes that we went on in Iraq, you're talking about 4 KC-135s, 1,000 feet stacked up, 1,000 feet apart, with anywhere from 4 to 8 aircraft per KC-135 refueling. We would just sit in formation on these planes and refuel and rotate through until everybody got their gas. And then we'd start over and rotate through again as the KC-135s were dragging us north towards Iraq. Once we got to the north part of the track, they'd drop us off. We'd go do what we had to do inside the country. We'd come back and pick up the track again, and they'd drag us back south, refueling the whole way till we got topped off, then we'd head back to the ship. Overall, your typical strike mission's probably going to be 6.5 hours or so. On a typical mission like this, you would refuel anywhere from 8 to 10 times. It really became second nature, but it's part of it. It's some precision flying that really can become routine, but you still have to pay attention to what you're doing. We call the KC-135, we call the boom on that, the refueling boom, the wrecking ball. The Navy pilots do. Navy pilots are used to a big soft basket made out of fabric. If you come in with your probe and lip it, you don't hit it directly in the center, but you maybe just lip it or bump it or something, it's really not going to hurt anything. The KC-135 basket is a different story. The thing is big and heavy, and if you don't hit the thing just right, it's going to do some serious damage to your plane. It could bounce around, hit the radome, the nose of the aircraft. I had one time where I didn't hit it right in the center, and it put a little kink in the hose, and it basically just ripped the fuel probe right off.
First shot in about 4 minutes or so.
Roger. Staying up hot now. Let me know if you occasionally see something. I'm glancing at the PID, but only as I make a sweep change. Coming through about every 10 seconds. Okay. The force core is fluttering a little bit, doesn't look bad. On the right side. And the left side too.
Yeah, not a problem.
Okay.
Box 2-1, picture clean.
Confirm fly radar.
How about implant?
Implant, picture clean. Implant, who's the friendliest just ahead of you, 20 miles?
Implant.
2 minutes, please. Okay, Implant 6-4, you're the trail group.
Implant
6-5.
Yeah, I sure wish we were faster.
6-6, your trail.
Me too. Watch it there.
And who is just behind Tower Box 2-1 group?
Got implant 6-1 and 6-5.
Roger.
Okay.
Move it out a little bit. Battle Act 1, picture clean.
Fertilizer's a little loud. It's unreliable now. Get about 16.
Okay.
Yeah, I got tally 1 on right 2 o'clock low. And that's the strike group.
All right, don't lose sight of the line.
Yeah, don't worry, I got him.
Lit up. Stinger high up.
Sure, high.
Clean.
6 IP, rolling west, clean.
Get away from underneath this guy now.
Rush copies.
Starbox in plan. Picture still clean ahead of you. No bogeys, no air activity. North of target. Hawk active. Plane.
That's going to be 20 miles. Looking again, he's at 22,000.
Spark shoot in 30 seconds.
Two contacts, 40 miles.
Starbox 22 contact 020, 18 miles on the nose hot. Sure, right.
Got some big sweep coming back. Look at their mode 2.
Starbox 22, picture clean in front of you.
Good mode 2.
Stock Magnum 1, go. Not coming off. Okay, arm.
We're yellow.
Good mode 2 on these guys.
Roger.
Plant 6-1, show you over Ike now.
Magnum. 6-1 approaching Ike.
There is
Roger.
one.
Magnum 1.
Watch us A7 here now. He's going to shoot and he'll go right in front of us. The other one to the left. You
Yeah, I got
him. Okay. Gina's drinking for some reason.
Yeah, I got him. Don't worry about it. Hope he's not going to get any off. Shoot another one. Shoot another one. Flak at Trudeau. Eight BD's your left 9. Shake a left, Gino, shake a left.
It's coming left. We're out of here. I concur with that with my INS. Still clean. We're on a bug now. Keep the turn coming now.
Left 3. Attack right there, Joe.
2.
1 eye hawk, 1-6, 1 rolling, north of bullseye.
Targeted.
Plan 6-1-5, show you just the Ike now.
Concur.
Battle axe, clean your area. Starbox 2-1, you still northeast of Ike?
Thanks for coming.
I got several vicinity Ike right now. Those are friendlies.
Roger. Quick to the left, go. Yeah, meet up at your 6 o'clock. Let's go.
We're 12 miles northeast of Ike. Looking at
Copy, radar.
good mode 2.
And we don't want to be turning right underneath us. Yeah, it's coming back now. A7's under our nose now.
All right.
They're bugging out.
Out of Dodge.
Yeah, we're on our way.
No.
Big scram south, go.
Bam, bam, bam.
We got bogeys near us. Understand, still clean?
Yeah, that's
Check
good.
lane.
All Let's run for the border.
Let's keep it out, scram now.
Yeah, we're okay. I'm getting highlighted by something.
Check in. Copy.
F-60, intermittent signal low. Yep. Signal high. 460, signal high.
Heads up, SA2 is on the not launch. To go SA2. Push in SA2.
Here comes.
Okay, continue 230, go.
Concur. And run. Badger. Down to 12, Joe. Signal lows off. 460 naked. Get around 12-0 on the gas. Okay.
Possible error, Yada Al-Assad.
No big deal. Badger.
Meet, check in.
06 is active, Alpha caught him.
Please step on it. Are you outbound? I don't have active. Outbound. Say again? So fast as you go.
Bandit, air.
Come on, man. Brushes retiring.
Just keep on running south. It'll be okay. Keep on running south. Those guys are way to the north of us, okay?
Yeah, I heard a bandit call, though.
Yep, they're out of active Altacottum. They're active Altacottum. Okay, just give me a roll here so I can check our belly. There you go. Go the other side now, and I'll check our long six.
Area 70, left side.
And I've lost my system. You got nav lead.
330, go. 50.
All right, we're looking good. Looking long.
Tomcats with a power, got 3 Corsairs right beneath you.
6 is clear.
There's, the other side is worse.
Roll left. Okay, we're clear. Looking good.
Flat 66.
Continue the buzz. On a good head. There's nothing between us and the border. They're all behind us. Fuel, when you get a chance, take a look at it. Badger.
In plan. Bandit, 300.
Again for implant.
Miles hot.
Good on you, lean south.
Hey, 87's right below us.
Implant 66.
Look at him, I'm 9.5 on the gas.
Implant.
6-1.
Back to mill.
You got 2 Tomcats out above us. They need to strip.
Roger.
Yeah, I got the guys on the left side. Okay.
You have implant 66. Implant, continue south, continue leading south. Tom's got you. All the bandits from implant 61.
Pirate, just single 230 at 46.
West 93.
Crazy.
Still ways to go.
They're tactical.
For which call sign?
It's from Bush.
Which call sign tactical?
Bush 67.
730085.
Again?
Coming back left.
Oh, 95.
Got it.
87's low, that's it.
My box 21 tactical B1088.
Hey, Connect 230.
Pretty sure that's an A7 anyhow. Left side left.
Yep, it is. Gosh, give me a wing rod.
Nice, MiG-29.
Who's that for?
All aircraft, they're MiG-29s. They're taken off out of Al-Assad, South Sudan.
No big deal, guys. No big deal. Here we got the other F-18s left side high.
300-624 close.
Again for implant 61.
And 6-1, bandits 3-1.
Or implant 66.
I'm gonna go to the outside. All right.
Implant 66, I'd like to maintain this heading.
Skybox 11. 63 hot.
29063, thank you.
Rush, give me a wing rock.
Skybox 11. And at 29063.
Copy that.
Hell of a headwind.
Did he stay left of the Tomcats?
Okay, they're locking you guys up.
Same range to the Toms. First right.
Skybox 290 60 miles.
Box 11, 29060. It's okay, man. We got to run for the border. Still 60 miles.
City's clean. Brake count. Flat, lean further south. Lean further south.
Skybox 21, they're locking you up. Now 310.
So you're heading?
City's heading 210.
Two Foxbats head airborne heading 270.
Fuck. Looking to use.
Straight conflict. You just got the section of bogies.
Box 11 bandits 285 20.
You're locked on bandits now. Locked on a contact 310 7000.
Have you just got the one section screw gun?
6-1 possible pop-up 310 35.
Implant copy 310 35. Copy Bush. Bush copy moon south. Implant copies.
Skybox 11 possible pop 160.
BD landing south. Canal separates. Two.
Plan, safe position off ice.
You're looking at 75. 75.
Stay firm.
1, take a look.
Implant 22060.
Flight
You tell Lawrence.
at the exit point at this time. Stop flight 310 12 in orbit.
Copy.
You have the nav lead. You tell him.
About a fucking
Aircraft
gas.
tank 310 now 310 12 ice.
We're okay there. Got 3 back.
Bandits Ike 310 36.
Okay, not a problem.
No Bandit Ike 270 48
Mike
southbound.
50, Yukon, come up Sky 4.
Skybox 11 Bandit, your nose 24.
Give me a belly check right quick.
Contact 6,000 feet.
Okay. Okay, we're past.
Implant 66.
Keep on running, man. We're second Heineken. How are you doing for gas? Looking about 75 or so.
Implant 6.
7-0.
6-6 clean. Skybox 11 Bandit is circling there 20 miles your nose.
Skybox 11 Angels.
Spock, Loki, I want you to jink and check 6. I'll lead up the brush right.
Georgia 7-0.
8-0.
Bandit heading south, Ike 26047.
No problem.
Plans now, flight level 220, outbound.
We got 40 to the
What's
border.
our position on Ike?
268 from Mike.
24 miles.
We're at 210, 36.
We're okay, man. Keep on running.
Box 11, welcome.
Feel some vibration for some reason. Yeah, it's no problem. I don't know what it is, but plane looks good up front. All right. Okay, we're second on the gas. About 6 now. Afterburner. All right. We're about 35 miles to the border.
Plan 6-1, Ike, 220 for 80.
On guard, come up Scarlet 1. We have anchor information for you on Scarlet 1.
27, southbound.
We're lamb, man. If they come, those guys are going to have to go for the
Mike,
deck.
250, 47.
Looking.
Let's go to car 1 to Tomax 15. Let's go for that. Say again.
5, say you're positive off Ike.
We cannot turn around and quick live through this sucker.
250, 63.
Keep your speed up.
Pass it.
Now.
I was in plan 66.
Clean, last contact on Bandit.
Good heading. Continue to run this way.
Skybox 11 in the north. Check for Bandit. Tactical 24030.
24030.
Oh, it's still good fuel. Okay. 24030 ain't us, that's for sure.
Plan 6-1, now 20,000.
Okay, I got 2 other contacts, several other contacts.
Estimate Bandit 24025.
Right side. Yeah, I got them. They look all friendly to me. Yeah, they're not doing anything yet.
6-6 press, clean. By box 11, Bandit, estimate now 25024.
Roger.
Estimate north.
Drop yourself down to 26.
Stay off, Ike.
Estimate Bandit Ike 26045.
It's okay, we're all right now still. That puts them about 60 miles from us.
Stack right.
Tacking right.
By box 11, estimate Bandit west 25.
Driving.
Roger, we'll have to head back, sir.
Is that him
Bandit
now?
Ike 25060.
Say again? High?
Yeah.
All right.
Let's see how way these guys here.
More 14s. Good heading would be 2-4.
Okay.
You steadied.
Skybox 11, estimate Bandit now 24034.
For implant 6-1. Skybox 11, steady 210 now.
Roger. Contact.
That last call was from Ike, 24034.
We're fine. Some gas, that's our biggest single problem right now. Approaching the border now, about, I'm estimating 10 miles.
Okay. Squawking, right?
Not yet. I don't feel comfortable yet. I'll squawk at the border.
Okay.
I'm in the altitude block.
You widen it out a little.
They were on the deck and skip alert.
1-1, we got a Bandit.
Hey, firm.
31050 tactical.
No problem.
Screw top, that's a MiG-20, the MiG-23, MiG-23. Screw dark has high arc, that track. Turn it south.
Yeah, we need to find the tanker, that's for sure.
All right.
Bingo for Al Juice, say about 3-5 or so.
South.
Yeah, we don't have any gas right now at all. We are not going to turn into a threat. We will fire.
We know that, Weasel.
Okay. Okay, I'm looking at 5-4 now.
One Bandits are high.
Contact, Rick.
Thank you, sir. As soon as he hits 30, we'll turn into him.
Okay. there. 32050.
Okay, widen it out on the left.
Almost there, man.
Roger.
Looking at 5-3 now.
Yep.
The player's only going in. We'll have to revisit
46
that.
miles.
Okay.
Yeah, as long as you're using burner to stay out, keep up.
I know. Problem is I got to revisit the fuel problem, given these guys are standing strip alerts and they're popping up as we're trying to run. Okay, I'm going.
Two MiG-23s now, 32045.
Box 1-1, Roger.
Well, they're kind of just hanging up north again.
Yeah, let them hang up north. I'm out of gas.
I don't think they came too close to our cast.
He'd call the border. Oh, it couldn't he? Midair border.
Additional bandits north of those bandits, 43.
Stan, you at the border? That's where we're just crossing now.
40 miles.
Okay.
4 o'clock.
Box 1-1.
5-0 on the gas.
tanker is a fighter pilot's best friend. When you're out doing air combat training, you're just flying around, turning and burning. The F-14 takes a lot of gas, and it doesn't take long to burn it up. You can actually burn all the gas in an F-14 quicker than you can dump it. So when we're out there having fun, our favorite person is the tanker pilot. The refueling isn't necessarily quite as easy as it looks. As you approach the basket with your probe, there's a little bit of a bow wave of the air disturbance around the front of that probe, and if you just try to fly up really and try to fly formation off the basket and come in really slowly, the air from that probe will just push the basket away, and you'll sit there and chase it the whole time. So you really got to get a little bit of a run at it and just line up and proceed directly into the basket to get a good plug. This is a KA6. The K is for tanker. It's an A6 fitted with drop tanks and a buddy store. The buddy store is the tank in the center that holds the hose and the basket and all that. We fly up and tank off the, when we get plugged into the basket, we push the hose in until some green lights come on underneath that pod, and we know we're getting gas. You usually get 1,000 to 2,000 pounds at a time, whatever the tanker pilot has to give you, and you work that out in advance. Once you've gotten what you need to get, you just back off on the throttles a little bit. You're going to slow down and pull out, and you're going to fly up on his wing and give him a thumbs up when he retracts the basket, because you're the only one that can tell him that everything is secure on the outside of his plane, and then off you go. All right, this is the nice soft basket that we're used to in the Navy. Pilots measure fuel in pounds, not gallons, because we care about how much it weighs. And you'll get maybe 1,000 to 2,000 pounds at a time, because he's got to divide all that fuel up amongst the whole air wing, and he's got to save some. So if somebody has problems getting aboard, somebody gets low on gas out there, he's the tanker airborne, and he's got to have enough left over to give people when they really need it. In-flight refueling is really simple until it's a stormy night or rough air or bad weather, and you really need the gas, and suddenly it becomes really difficult. He's streaming a little bit of fuel here out of this basket, so there's a little bit of a problem. We're going to come over here and tell him, hey, retract that in, cycle it, send it back out, see if that fixes the problem, because it's not making a good seal, and he's streaming some fuel out of that, and that's not a good thing. So he retracts it into the buddy store. There's a little propeller on the front of that pod that pumps the fuel. Now he's going to stream it back out, and we're going to try it again. Sometimes we're talking to him on the radio. Most of the time, though, we're using hand signals if we can avoid talking on the radios. Okay, we'll get lined up. We'll give another run at it. There's our green light. We should be getting some gas now. Okay, we're getting ready to come in for the break. This is our chance to look cool. Everybody on the ship is looking for the fighters to come in for the break. We're going to fly up the starboard side of the ship. As soon as we get the right distance, we're going to turn sharply downwind and about a 6G, 6.5G turn to get configured, slowed down, and get ready for the landing. Come in for the break at about 600 feet, and the faster you can come in without going supersonic, the better. The wings are swept back. You come in, you pull a high G turn, you pop the wings out, they're going to come forward, and you get slowed down enough, the gear and the flaps are going to come down. Your hook is already down. You do a quick landing checklist on downwind. One of the most critical things is your beam distance. That's how far you are from the ship. You're judging to make sure everything's lined up properly. As soon as you get back near the fantail, near the end of the ship, you're going to make your turn in, set up for your approach. You can see the wake of the ship coming into view. That's what we judge to make sure we're on the profile. We should be about 450 feet right now over the wake. It's called rolling into the groove here. We start to pick up the meatball, and that's the yellow lens, the landing aid on the left side of the ship. We want that yellow meatball perfectly lined up with the green datum lights on the sides. We're going to keep that there all the way in. Line up, we're checking the lineup, we're listening to the LSO calls. We're working hard to keep that yellow ball right in the center. Checking our lineup. We touch down, we go to full power. If you didn't feel that familiar tug, the LSOs are saying bolter, bolter, bolter. That means either our hook skipped, or if you really paid attention, you see the nose of the plane just dip really slightly just as I'm getting ready to touch down. That was enough to pop the hook up and miss the wires. Navy pilots are trained to go to full power as soon as they touch down just for that very reason. If you just sat there at a normal power setting, you'd dribble off the end of the flight deck, and you might not have enough time to keep it airborne. You go to full power, you pull the nose up, and you just go around and try it again. Day carrier landings are fun. We call it bag and traps. The more traps or landings we can get on the carrier in the daytime, the better. That's one of the most fun things we can do, as compared to night carrier landings, which are no fun at all. I don't know anybody that likes to go out and get a night carrier landing. I had over 100 night carrier landings or night traps, and I was scared on every one of them. I've heard where there was a study during Vietnam where they compared the heart rates of pilots in combat as compared to landing on the ship at night, and they weren't even close. Landing a night carrier landing pegged the meter every time, much more than any combat situation. Okay, we're coming in and try it again. Everybody's really paying attention this time. I'm not about to go high. You saw the ball kind of drop off towards the bottom there. I was playing it on the safe side. Just the opposite of the catapult shot. We're flying an approach at about 135, 140 knots, and we come to a stop in less than a second and a half. Those red shirts are ordnance people. They're waiting to disarm the missiles. That's one of the first things we're going to do. We're going to pull off. We're going to point the nose of the aircraft out over the water in case something bad happens. They're going to pin those missiles and safe all the weapons. Once we've been disarmed, now it's safe. We're going to taxi over into position. We're following the yellow shirt's directions. And we're going to taxi into a spot so they can chain us down and we can get out. We're going to pull into our parking spot. The nose of the aircraft is no more than 10 feet from the landing area. That's why lineup is critical on the landings. There's really no way to describe flying the F-14. It was wilder than the most thrilling roller coaster ride. It was more fun than anything I've ever done. That sounds really weak. Lame. There's no way to describe flying the F-14. It was a lot of fun. It was every flight was an adventure. No, that sounds like a commercial. Overall, flying the F-14 was just a great experience.
Okay, I think it's good.
I mean, you know, it's like trying to describe it to somebody is like impossible. I know. I can't describe to you what flying the F-14 is like. It was a great experience. These videos don't even capture a percentage of, well, that's too technical, right? These videos are just a little glimpse of what flying the F-14 was like. Overall, it was an incredible experience. I can't describe it to you. Just take the wildest ride you've been on at an amusement park and magnify it by 100 times over. There are so many different experiences and so much excitement in different times. It was just, you know, blah, blah, blah. So, cut. You have to take the first part of that.
Yeah.
Join the action on the carrier on board the U.S. Navy's USS John F. Kennedy and watch the raw action which took place during the first strikes in the Gulf War. See the action of dozens of fighter aircraft, bombers, helicopters, transports, and AWACS planes taking off and landing during one of the busiest times ever in the history of naval aviation, dedicated to the men and women who risked their lives for freedom, past and present. Join the raw action on board the USS John F. Kennedy.